Om Adhyasya Chakshavakeya Chakshagopeta Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupa Sagarjata Sagara Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lita Sri Sakha Vitamscha Namo Krishna Padaya Krishna Krishnaaya Tate Sri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurati Se Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Kratam Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishnapadu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Karmakarobhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vatsadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Alright. So I'll not do revision today. We'll have quick class. So, but yeah, we'll have revision anyway on the way. So today we'll be covering from 2.40 and 2.40. Right. So we'll start with 2.40. Repeat after me. Nehabhikramano asti. Nehabhikramana sosti. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpam alpasya dharmasya. Prayate mahato bhayam. Nehabhikramana sosti. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpam alpasya dharmasya. Prayate mahato bhayam. Anyone from Prabhu's side? Nehabhikramana sosti. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpam alpasya dharmasya. Prayato mahato bhayam. Anyone from Mother's side? Nehabhikramana sosti. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya. Prayate mahato bhayam. The translation by His Divine Grace is able to transform Srila Prabhupada. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So, what he's saying, in this path, what you are doing, in this endeavor, right, there is no loss or diminution. Means there is no, you're not going to lose anything, right, or nothing which goes down slowly. And a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. When we even do a little activity on this, it can protect us or whoever is doing that activity from the most dangerous types of fear. Right. So till now, before that, this verse is where it is properly shifting from karma. Yeah, the not karma, karma can't also you can say right from the knowledge of soul and body to proper Nishkam karma. Right. This is where it is shifting now. What he's saying, like, whatever you are doing, even the little, it can save you from the greatest fear. Right. So, Here, here the word is used. Right. So, all right. So here, uh, a word comes like this. This is section which is called as Buddhi Yoga. Right. Srila Prabhupada mentions, and a lot of Acharya they mention this as a Buddhi Yoga. Right. Now, Buddhi means intelligence. Now, what is intelligence? What do you mean by intelligence? One of the three parts of subtle body, good theory. What else? What do you mean by intelligence? Awareness. Okay. What else? Ability to discriminate between good and bad. And anything else? What is good for us? Then how do you know what is good for you? You have the ability, then how would you decide? Okay, we'll come to that later. तब तक सोच लेंगे. Right. So, okay. So here, Lord says that Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahatohaya. Right. And neha vikramana sosti pratyavayo navidyate. Means there is no loss or diminution. What gets lost? In material world, when you do any action, right? We are discussing about karma yoga, right? From sakam karma, now we are moving to niskam karma. What gets lost? Mhm. Krishna gets lost. The Krishna cannot get lost. But what else? Fear of losing something. Okay. When you do some action, do you fear of losing something? What gets lost? When you do an action, what happens? Enjoyment, you get some enjoyment. We do every action for the happiness. But what gets lost?
The fear whether we can
It goes down. Hmm.
the fear whether we will achieve it or not, that fear will get.
The fear will be lost. Okay, one way you can say yes, but again, when you have to do, the fear will come back. So you are really never afraid of it. Like first time you're taking class, you will have a lot of fear. Second time you take it, you still have some fear, right? But slowly, maybe it will get lost, right? So yes, but what else? What do you lose when you do any action? Say you are doing some action. Energy. What else? Time. What else?
Resources.
Resources. Yeah. Right. So these all things get lost when you do any action. Say I'm taking bath. I have to put some energy. Right. I have to put some time. I have to put some effort. And these all gets lost in the end. Right. After the action is done. Right. So that is the way how the material action works. We did something like, let's say he's preparing for class 4th exam. He started. Not now class 5. You're in class 5 or 4? Okay, that's great. I thought you were in 4th. So class 5th exam he's preparing. What happens after exam? What gets lost? What do you forget? My performance. Okay, that is also one thing. Right. So the result. The result also goes down. Or it is okay. Now the work is done. That's it. I don't like the result is there. That's it. Right. You lose that. You don't actually carry on with that. Like you eat something, very tasty rasgulla. For 4 seconds, it's there. After 4 seconds, 5 seconds, result is lost. So you lose the result in the material action. Anything you do, in the end, the result either you will lose it or it will keep on going down. But what Lord is saying here, right? Swalpam alpasya dharmasya. Even the small activity, even the small endeavor, what you do, and what endeavor, like what endeavor he's talking about here. In this endeavor, what endeavor? Hmm. That endeavor. Right now we are in the Nishkam Karma, so he's talking about that only. In the Nishkam Karma or anything which we do for Krishna, right? That endeavor, whatever we do, even the small activity, you are you are on like you are so someone is so much want to do samaj seva, right? And they are doing like mujhe pyau lagana hai. It's a month of March or May, right? It's very hot, so I'll put a water pyau. Pyau, you know, right? Pyau, where we distribute water to the people who are traveling, right? Huh. So they kept one water pyau, right? And then they are feeding everyone that water, they are giving everyone. And then some Vaishnava came and they gave to him also. That also will never be lost. Right? But in material world, what happens? You prepared for 5th class exam, you move to 6th, and then don't have to prepare it again. And probably you will forget also a lot of things. Right? And even if he does not forget, what happens after death? Someone did PhD, postdoctorate, 2, 3, 4, and 5th, 5 times postdoctorate. After death, new life, and then let's say, unfortunately, he got the life of human again. Then again, starting from ABCD. Right. So these things, all the material actions, that is what get lost. Anything, all the results. Right. But in spiritual thing, whatever we do, that is never get lost. That's a very, actually, here it's quite motivating. This verse and the next verse, they're actually quite motivating. It's very motivating. Right. A lot of people say, what if I won't be able to follow completely? This, just a disclaimer, this does not mean don't follow. Okay, Krishna said that even if I do little, it will not be lost. Right. So I do only little. It does not mean that. But even if someone is not able to achieve the result, it is never lost. So someone is doing PhD. For 5 years they spent a time to do the PhD, and on the last day when the what happens? When the thesis defense is there, right? And they got something maybe due to some unforeseen circumstances, it went very bad, or they could not even attend it. What happens? They'll not be called PhD, right? It's all lost. Right. Again, they have to do, maybe next time they have to do the defense and all those things. We lose on class 12th exam, someone gets failed. It's not like a next, again, okay, beta, tomorrow result. Again, they will have to repeat a whole year and then give the exam. Right. But here, even the small thing we do, it's not lost. They start from where they have stopped. If we have, say, just as an example, Srila Prabhupada also writes in the purport, which we'll read. If you have completed, say, 1% in this life or 2% in this life, next life you'll be starting with 2 plus or 3%. It's not like you lose everything. Like we start from ABCD. Why do you think the people, a lot of children or a lot of kids, right? They from the childhood itself they become so they're like so much inclined for spirituality. Why do you think that happens? Even in their home, there is no one. Take an example. Yeah, we have Mukund, we have Chaturved with us, right? He's an amazing Mridanga player, and he studied in Gurukul also. Now they shifted here, so he is out of Gurukul. But yeah, how from the childhood itself, what decides that they are born into such family or they are like that? This verse. Because the activity which they did, even though it was not completed in their lifetime, now they get the opportunity to complete it. It's not like they have to start from ABCD. They'll pick up very fast. When Sai Ram Prabhu is learning Mridanga, I was like, it will take me a lot of time. I attended the preliminary course and I was like, that's it. मुझसे ना हो पाएगा. Sai Ram Prabhu is still continuing, right? अब मेरे जैसे लोग को मृदंगा सीखने के लिए शायद अगला जन्म भी लेना पड़े, right? But these kids, they learn very fast, right? And yeah, that's the great thing. So the result, time, effort, these all get lost or gets reduced slowly in the material action. But in the spiritual action, in the Nishkam karma, it never gets lost. Right? It always carries on. Like we have the leaf carry forward in offices. Although that carry forward is also for 1 year. After 1 year you lose it. But at least for 1 year you can have the fun. Just seeing the leaf And at the end, you'll realize that, oh, that carry forward is also lapsed. Okay, so yeah, so that's where the pap punya, the game also comes into picture. Right? There's a lot of people like I will do some pious activity, I'll get some punya, right? But even the pap and punya also get lost because that is the result of this material world. It's not the spiritual result. It's not the result of the Vaikuntha. It's the result of this material world. So when we do some puja, some any pap punya, samaj seva, right? All those things. When I say puja, that does not mean not. That means for something which is not related to God. Right, something like okay कोई पूजा हो रहा है तो हम भी जाके बैठ जाएंगे right और कुछ भी चल रहा है we'll just get into that and yes you will get the good result of it you may get even heaven you will enjoy for a lot more but then your credit will go down we heard about this right the credit and debit side of our pap and punya when you do punya your credit gets increased when you do pap your negative balance gets increased it does not cut each other it does not cancel each other one goes up, one goes down. Right. And you have to finish both to come to a platform where now you are over pap and punya game. And then you become completely spiritual. That's when you get liberation. Right. So the pap punya also, that is also something which in material action, that also gets lost. Right. So now Krishna is talking about here. Any question till here? No? Now Krishna is talking about here. Trayate mahato bhaya. From the protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. What is your greatest fear? What is your greatest fear? Customized question. Everyone has different fear. Yes. Fifth exam. Fifth exam, no? I knew that. What else? Losing our closest one. Yes. One of the greatest fear for everyone. Prabhuji is directly on Jara Vyadhi disease. What if when I'm not able to walk and घुटने में दर्द होगा, I'll not be able to carry the क्या कहते हैं luggage नहीं books cartons that is also fear. I have that fear now. I got that fear now. What else? What is your fear? IT कंपनी वाले IT के fear बताए ही नहीं. Layoff, right? That is like for all the people who are especially in IT company, that is the greatest fear. Layoffs. Okay, so remind me that after fear discussion, okay? What happens? Any other fear?
What others will think.
What others will think? लोग क्या कहेंगे? ठीक. That is fear, right? We were just discussing before the class. मैंने प्रभु जी को कहा कि प्रभु जी धोती पहनने का टाइम आ गया है. साईराम प्रभु से मैंने पूछा प्रभु जी आपको आता है? Then he said yes मुझे आता है. तो मैंने कहा फिर क्यों नहीं? लोग क्या कहेंगे? that is a fear, right? That's okay, right? Initially we get that kind of hesitation. It's a fear, but slowly that also will go away. And that is for all of people who are not coming in dhoti, not only for Sairam Prabhu, right? Not only for Sairam. So these are all greatest fear, right? We have this fear losing someone, right? Failures, failing in exams, layoffs, right? Not being able to do our family responsibility, not being able to do what if I take the place that I will take 16 rounds and I'm not able to do. How many of you have that fear? But what's harm in trying? Think. One day you will not be able to do. At least out of 10 days, one day you will be able to do. Is it that better than not doing at all? Right. Take a place. I'll take 16 rounds. I'll do as much as I can. Maybe I'll not be able to do 5 days a week. But for 2 days I can do. I have time. At least for when you are taking that place, 2 days you can do, right? And when you do for 2 days, matlab, yes, maybe you can take Monday, Friday also, right? Work from home days. Right. But there's no harm in doing that. Yes? We can take, you can try. When you take the pledge, you actually have to try to fulfill it, but at least you can start trying. Right. So that kind of fear is our greatest fear. And all those fear what we discussed, what kind of fear are those? Except the chanting thing. Materialistic fear, failing in exam, losing someone, right? Failure, layoffs, all are materialistic fear. And what Lord is saying here? He said, like, I can, yes, I can protect you from the greatest of the fears. What does that mean? Someone, like, if I start doing chanting 16 round, my job will be secured. I'll not lose my loved ones. No disease. Does it mean that? Then what it means? Why it does not mean that? If God can do anything, why He can't do that?
It's the karma that we have to.
Who drives the karma?
As
No, we drive the karma. Who gives the result of karma? But why can't He do that then? He can take away. God is God. He can take away all your karma in one snap. Right. Then why not? Why not He can do the materialistic fears? Why can't He remove? Or can He? He can or He cannot?
can.
He can, right? He's God. He can do anything He wants. If He wants, He can do. He can remove our materialistic fears also. But then, even for devotees' life, we see a lot of problems. Losing job, losing someone, getting janma mrityu, jara vyadi. Even the strongest of the devotee face this problem. Why? Why doesn't God remove those all obstacles or those all fears from their life?
Because here that like how this cycle of
This is cycle of karma, but they have surrendered to God. If God wants, He can do. Why not for those people? Let's say हम तो बहुत छोटे लोग हैं, like we are small people, we don't even deserve it. But why not those highly elevated people? Why in their life they get such kind of thing? Or in extension of that, why do we in our life we get such kind of thing? Even when we started practicing, we still get those things.
faith or śraddhā gets stronger and difficult.
If you lose someone, your Sraddhā gets stronger.
Not
Or if you lose the job.
not that way, but in those difficult times when we still have the faith in God.
Yeah, that's correct. That's absolutely correct. Those times reminds us that God is there, and this is even higher time to remember God. Every karma, every result gives one learning for us. Right. The results are not given just because karma is there. The results are given for us to learn something from it. Why did we get that result? What should we learn from that? It's not, okay, I got this because my karma. We cannot just put on karma because then you are bound to repeat it. And you'll get again the same result if you put it just simply on the cycle of karma. But what is the learning? Why did I get that? And what should I do not to get this thing again? Right. So even the difficulties, like Prabhuji said also, those are the times when actually they get more attached, they get more faith into in Krishna, right? And when someone is stuck into that faith, they get their progress very fast, right? They are more like their elevation is way faster, and that's what we have to think. Like, yes, these all fears are materialistic fear, right? And yes, God can take away all those fears as well if He wants to, but probably He has a bigger plan. Still, people get that because He wants those people, He wants us to learn from those results. If He will take away that thing, we will not learn. That's why we get even when we try to practice, we are all practicing devotee. None of us are devotee. Let's be have in mind, right? Devotee word itself is a way higher. Someone who satato, Krishna says that no? Satato bhajan. Huh? Sato kirtan toma. Correct. Like 24/7 worship me. Those people are called devotee. 24 hours छोड़ दो मतलब 24 minutes also we cannot do with the full concentration, right? So Yes. But then what kind of greatest fear he's talking about here? These are all materialistic fear. What kind of greatest fear he's talking about here? Death? You'll be Amar. You are already. Death is not your greatest fear, really. And even someone who is doing, he said, like smallest endeavor will save you from greatest fear. If that is the case, then all of us are smallest, at least thoda to kiya hai. Then all of us are eternal. Amar. That's not that fear. What is that fear? Materialistic fear we discussed, that is on him. निकल पाएंगे कि नहीं, right? That is our biggest fear. Coming out of this cycle, right? And even the smallest endeavor into that, the smallest act we do, can take us from this cycle. Yes, it may not happen in this life. It may not happen in maybe next 10 life also. But in the end, it will happen. How? Because then he will give you opportunity to get progress even more. That is our greatest fear, coming out of this materialistic world. Right. So the fear, and is there anyone who does not have any fear? Okay. Everyone has some fear, right? And even the most fearsome people had some fear, like Ravana. Even Ravana had some fear. So when Hanumanji went into Lanka and he burnt the Lanka, after burning, he called the meeting of all his mantri, all his ministers. They all were sitting, and then he told three things. He was giving the lecture, like I'm giving lecture, another Ravana, right? So he told the three things. That there are three types of decision. There are three types of decision. He was like asking, this is a monkey, and he did this kind of thing. Think when the whole army comes, what thing they can do, right? So uh, he was talking about that, and then he told कि the decision which we have to take, it should be. He was talking about decision, like three types of decision people generally make. The first is the last one is adham. The first one is uttam. Let's talk about the first. The best decision. The best kind of decision are something which follows the Shastra and which aligns with the God's law, right? Which is in alignment of what is the God's plan. Those are the best decisions. What God says, follow that. What our Shastra says, follow that. Those are the best decisions. Like I'm taking a decision, I may have some other thing in my mind, right? But Shastra says that, so I will take this decision according to Shastra. Right, and that's why, like in olden time, kings and all, they used to have minister to guide them. What is Shastrocit? What is Shastra Sammat decision? Right. So that is the best type of decision. Uttam decision. Then the second is Madhyam decision. I think what is right or wrong, I will do accordingly. So I think this is right. Okay, maybe Shastra might be saying something or whatever. I am okay with that. But I think probably they might be wrong. I think this is the best way forward. I will do that. Right? Someone who takes his own intelligence, right, to decide something, to take a decision, that is the moderate kind of decision. Then the worst decision are adham. Adham decision are those which is like, I don't care what Shastra says. I don't care what my Guru says. I don't care what any sane person is saying. This is what my passion is driving it. Like if this is what I want, I will do that only. I don't care what anyone else is saying. Right? When Ravan kidnapped Sita, every single person, including Kumbhakaran, his sons, Mandodari, everyone told, what are you doing? Give her back. Right? This will destroy not only you but your whole family. But they're like, no, I want that. Adam, like he was having the madness, pramad on his mind. Right? So he's telling that to his minister. Think the Ravan. Right? And then he also takes the Adam decision. So every like that is also one kind of, that is a fear, right? And what does fear do? This story is as an example. What does fear do? Even though he was fearful, now we lose our intelligence because of fear, right? We lose our intelligence. So If you think about from soul's point of view, right? The greatest fear is coming out of this material world. And God is saying that I will protect you from that. That is the greatest fear which God will protect us from. Even if we do a small activity. But again, I'll repeat, that does not mean we have to do a small activity only. Right. Otherwise, yes, you have to go to Bangalore. You can go by Vande Bharat Express. Now it's running. Right. You can go by train, normal train. You can go by bus. You can go by cycle. You can go by walk also. Right. Or you can go by sleeping also. Maybe Dandavat karte hue for Bangalore. I don't know who's the predominant deity in Bangalore. Maybe. So it's gone Whitefield you are going by doing Dandavat. It will take time. Right. All will reach there only. Everyone will reach Bangalore in the end. But then how much time? It's on us. A small endeavor, small, bigger time. It's inversely proportional. Bigger endeavor, less time. Right. So let's read what Srila Prabhupada says in that. So Srila Prabhupada says that even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. So an example you can say like when we do the book distribution, sometimes we feel or sometimes we try to convince some people a lot, right? They will take your 15-20 minutes, then also they don't take the book, right? Or they're like, acha, theek hai, okay. Sometimes people, even if you don't think that they will take the book and they'll suddenly stop the bike or car and go, this is what I was searching for, can you give me one? Right. Or when you are taking, maybe Bhagavad Gita classes are announced. Some new Bhagavad Gita classes are announced in Sarovar, in Cyber Life. Maybe in Vivantis also pretty soon it will start. Right. There will be some people who are saying, I was just waiting for this. Right. I was just waiting for this to start so that I can join. And they can join me immediately. Why that happens? Because they did something, so they did those endeavors in their previous life or lives and immediately they get inclined. God gives them opportunity. That this is your opportunity. That's the only thing like we have to take that opportunity. And that's where intelligence comes. The buddhi. That's why Srila Prabhupada called this at Buddhi Yoga. Everyone has knowledge. You go to road and you say Bhagavad Gita. Arey, हाँ, मुझे पता है. I'm not this body, I'm the soul. Right? Everyone knows. Right? I know Bhagavad Gita. I'm the Prakhand Pandit of Bhagavad Gita. Then when you ask, then what do you do for your soul? Zero. Nada. Absolutely nothing. They don't even know what to be done for the soul. Right? They will go to club, they will have enjoyment, they will drink, eat, be merry. They'll remember 700 sloka by आगे से बुलवा लो, पीछे से बुलवा लो, बीच में बुलवा लो, 15.20. Yes, this one. If there are 20. Right. But then what do you do for your soul? Nothing. Now what's the use? It's zero, right? So yeah. So that's how Srila Prabhupada is saying. When we do a small endeavor, we get the opportunity. Slowly it will keep on coming. And the performer of such work is therefore not at loss, even if the work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete, like we discussed. Even if our work is not complete, someone wanted, like, I want to have Diksha, let's say, I want to have initiation in this life, right, from something, and but they are not able to do, like, okay, I'm not able to follow this, some reason, whatever XYZ reason. Next life, they will 100% they will get the opportunity to follow them. But we have to follow this life only. Why to wait for next life? Again, we don't know what is our end consciousness, end time consciousness. We'll see through some stories. So 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent result. So that the next beginning is from the point of 2%. We did 1% in this life, next life it will start from 2%. It will not go down. It's not that we are going to again start ABCD. Right. Even though we have to start a new line Bhagavad Gita from the scratch, but some people you would think like they understand this scripture very easily and very quickly. As people from years they are connected and they can't understand. They ask the basic of the doubt. It's all because those people who understand very quickly, very early, they have done some endeavor. It is yes, they have to repeat it, but then their progress will be much faster. than many people who are doing it first time. Yeah. Whereas in material world, without 100% success, there is no profit. Like we took the example of PhD. Until you give that defense, until you pass the defense in the PhD, or you give the exam of 12th, you are not called 12th pass. You'll call 12th fail. There's a movie, right? Right. So you'll be called 12th fail if you do. But in spiritual world, that does not happen. Right. And there's a verse comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. त्यक्त्वा स्वरूपं चरणाम्बुजं हरेर्भजन् पक्योऽथ पतेत् ततो यदि यत्र क्व वा भद्र भूतमुष्य किङ्को वार्थ आपतो भजतां स धर्मतः. Means the one who has forsaken his material occupation to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometime fall down while in an immature state. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational devotees, does not gain anything. Right. Means we can keep on doing, we can have the 5 doctorate, postdoctorate degrees. Still, next life we have to start from priest. Right. Right. From now nursery is also higher class. Nowadays it starts with preschool. In our time it was just maybe some KG or maybe class 0. Right. Nowadays it's a preschool. Then you go to nursery. Then you go to KG. The world is like that. So you have to start with preschool. Right? But in spiritual world it will not happen like that. So further Srila Prabhupada says that even the Bible says that what profit a man if he gains the whole world yet suffer the loss of an eternal soul. You can gain everything, 10 houses, 20 billion balance in your bank account. Anyone happy? No? Okay. Take 20 billion paisa, not dollars. Think? In your bank account. And all those things you can gain. In next life, again you have to start from 1 rupee. First house, first degree, first wife. Or one only wife. Right. You lose everything. And again you have to start from there. So Bible also says that what is such kind of gain where you lose your eternal soul? If someone is doing only occupational duty, that is material duties, not doing anything for the soul, they are going to lose it. That's what Bible also says that. Anyway. So material activities and their result with the end with the body, like we discussed. Material result, it's a material concept, it will end with the body. But work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness, even after the loss of body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again a human being, either in a family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family. That will give one a further chance for elevation. Now, why rich aristocratic family? Means why the rich family? We hear, right? We hear a lot. Arey, bade baap ka beta. Someone being born in rich family, they'll be like spoiled brat. Then why God is saying born in the like that? Right? Why God is saying they'll be born in rich family? Why do you think? Someone who knows, don't answer. Any guesses? We can understand the first one. They'll be born in Brahmana family. Right? They'll get the opportunity to learn from the family. It's a family tradition. So they'll be okay. Brahmana family, that does not mean by jati again. Let's be very clear. It means who is actually Brahmana. Otherwise, I am like, okay. I know a lot of people, including me also, who are also by birth in Brahmana family then. But probably it was not fault of my mother, father, it was me who has not taken anything. At least they used to do puja. I don't. I did. Right. So not their fault, it is me. But a lot of people don't even do. Go into JNU, a lot of Brahmana you'll find. Most anti-Hindu people you'll find in JNU. Right. By name they'll be Misra, Shukla, or whatever. Chaturvedi. Right. But yeah. So why? So we can understand why Brahmana family, because they will get the culture from the family. But then why rich family? Why is God saying rich family? Any guess? We have discussed this at least 4 to 5 times. ठीक है, अच्छा जिसको पता है वो भी बता दें.
I can answer it. Like they would have done some activities in the past, like donations or
So that is okay. Rich family. You don't have to be born into rich family to do donation again.
I think
Or to follow the Krishna
they
consciousness.
don't have to worry about these aspects at all.
मतलब,
It's taken care of.
what is the basic need of life?
साधनों में भी लेकिन अगर भगवान की तरफ आकर्षित होता है कि ये परीक्षा लेने और दूसरा पुरुषोत्तम तरीके के
ये तो आपको ऐसे में देख के सीखने में जाओगे, everything मत करो. Why would God do that? नहीं, ये वो reason नहीं है कि मतलब he'll send you in cinema hall and say don't think about the hero or heroine. ऐसे नहीं. That's not the reason. कि उसका टेस्ट नहीं ले रहे यहाँ पे. God is not taking test of him. जीवन के मतलब व्हाट इज द बेसिक नेसेसिटी ऑफ आवर लाइफ? क्या होता है? हाँ? रोटी कपड़ा और मकान. When someone is born in rich family, do they have to worry about that? No. Then they can simply start. I have roti, I have kapda, I have makan. Now I can simply follow what I have left in previous life. Whether, and on the other hand, if someone is born into a very poor family, right, first they have to worry about this roti kapda. At least for roti and kapda they have to worry about. Right, makan nahi bhi hai to bhi at least for roti and kapda they have to worry about. And then only they can do that. So God sends them to rich families. They don't have to worry about the basic necessities so that they can follow, because they will get the opportunity. They will get the opportunity to serve the Lord if they remember, if they can take it forward. It's all sorted like us, right? We can think like most of us probably. We never had to worry in our life about roti kapda or makan. Our fathers always gave us whatever we wanted. Still, if we are not able to do, then we are just wasting our life. Just waste. Right. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Now, some examples. Anyone knows any example of this thing? Even if you do a little, next life, you'll get the opportunity to. Yes. Bali Maharaj offered a little water to Vamandev. Vamandev came quite late. What he did before. That should be the example. You are right, your example is right, but the sequence is not. Because that is the ultimate thing. What else? Ajamil. Right. What else? Any other example? I will discuss the story of Ajamil. Chat, come, story time. Chaturved? You didn't know the story? Now is the time. Anyone else? Sudhaman? Rice and he get. But that are material opulent, Mother. We talk about a spiritual thing. Take it. We'll discuss. Anyone knows this? Who's that? Gajendra. Who was Gajendra? So he was a king. His name was Indru. And he was a great devotee of the Lord. So at the time, at his fag end of life, when he was like near to the end of his life, he was doing samadhi. He was remembering God there. And Agastya Muni was passing by, and he saw Indru Maharaj. Okay, he's my guru also, so that is what I remember. Great. So he saw King Indru, and then he asked something. He tried to have some conversation. He asked something, but then he was in samadhi. He did not even realize someone is there, and he thought he took it as like he's very proud and he's doing that, and he gave a slap. In next life, you'll become an elephant, and he actually became an elephant, and he was living in a jungle. So once he was like going into water, one crocodile caught his leg, and that crocodile is strong. It was a strong crocodile. It started pulling him inside the water to kill and eat him. Now Gajendra remembered all those prarthana. He remembered what we call now as Gajendra Moksh. Right. That there is Sankat. There is one prayer. He remembered that prayer from his previous life. So what he did, he took one lotus from that pond He offered that lotus to Vishnu and he told that prayer. And immediately Vishnu came on Garuda and he took. Not only him, but even the crocodile was liberated immediately. Right. So that is one example. Even in previous life, elephant cannot remember, but because he did that, right? So he remembered that. He was a great devotee of the Lord. Another example, Ajamil, right? Like Prabhuji said. So everyone knows the story of Ajamil here, right? No? So Ajamil was born in a Brahmin family. He was a great Brahmana, right? He knew all those things, he knew all those theories. But then, when he was a boy, he was just walking in the jungle and he saw two Sudras, uh, or one man and women, right, of Sudra community. Yes, right. I will not say caste or jati. That's not what we do. Right. They were doing some intimate activity. He saw that and then he got attracted to them. And in his mind, like, I should also do that. And now he started leading all those spiritual activities, started searching for those pleasure, materialistic pleasure. He started searching for that. And in search of that and in doing those activities, he becomes such a bad person. Then think of any bad thing in the world he used to do that. Killing, murdering, eating children, all kind of thing. He used to do that. Right. So he became from the good boy to the most bad boy, the baddest boy. So he had a wife and a son also. He had many sons, but the youngest son was his wife named him as Narayan. When he was dying, Ajamil, you can see on the bed, when he was dying, he was very much attached to his son. So when he was dying, he just called Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. So Yamaduta came that down to take him to Narak, obviously. Take such a bad boy, where they will take him. But because he called Narayan, Narayan, Vishnu Dut also came. You can see here. And they stopped all the Yamduta. No. Because at the end of his life, he remembered Narayan, he remembered Vishnu, he is out of your area. Now you cannot take him. He was saved from death. And at that time, he was actually hearing what is being told. He was hearing everything, the conversation between the Vishnu Duta and the Yamduta. And he followed that. He was saved, and then he realized what he did was wrong, and he started following those practices again. He became Krishna Conscious, and he started following that. And at the end of life, um, I'll show you a picture. It's here. You see this picture? When he was dying, Vishnu Dut himself came. His body changed into Vishnu form, Vishnu Dut form, like Chaturbhuj form, and they took him into the chariot to Vaikuntha. Right. That was amazing thing. Right. So even they did do little what? He just called Narayan Narayan. And he got liberated because of that thing. Another example, one of the greatest example. Anyone knows who's that? Hmm? Who guess? Who's that little boy? Yes. Narad Muni. So Narad Muni was son of a maid servant. एक maid servant के बच्चे थे वो, ठीक है, someone who's servant. And the maid servant also did not know much shastra and all, but they were very devoted servant. So they were living in a very poor place in a jungle and near to one ashram. She used to do seva there. And Narad Muni also used to, in previous life when he was not Narad Muni, that kid also used to do seva. So once in Chaturmas, some sages, some rishis, they came there, and because it was Chaturmas, so they decided that we'll stay in that ashram. So Narad Muni, his mother, Narad Muni, that boy and his mother, they both got opportunity to serve them. They were serving very nicely to them. And while serving them, one day he asked his permission from the rishis that they were very happy by his service. He asked his permission that there is something called Uchist. Anyone knows what is Uchist? क्या होता है? मतलब from a Vaishnava, from a great devotee, something is left over from their thali. Right? It's called Juthan. But that Juthan is called Uchist. Right? That is highly elevated thing. Right? So he asked for permission, can I have that? And they gave him. He used to eat that, and that made him in next life Narad Muni, the greatest of the devotee. Right? If not at least one of the greatest of the devotee, who has made so many devotees. Like, don't go on the pictures and the serials. What Narad Muni, Narayana, he is not a funny or comic guy. He is the one who made Prahlad Maharaj. He is the one who made Dhruv Maharaj. He is the one who made Valmiki. Right? Yeah, for a lot of people. Like, he's the one of the greatest devotee who has converted people. Like, back of we heard the story of Brigari, the hunter. He was the one, right? The greatest devotee, in association of whom itself people get converted. By seeing himself, people get converted. That is Narad Muni, the greatest of all, right? That those are the examples. Even if we do little, it's not get lost. You will only going forward in next life from that. Right. Any question? वेद व्यास के गुरु भी वही थे नारद मुनि. Yes, correct. Right. There are a lot of examples, but Narad Muni was guru of so many people. So, yes, someone will be missed. Yes. Any question? No? हाँ हाँ, वो उससे भी पिछले जन्म में थे. हाँ, पहले वो ब्रह्मा जी के पुत्र थे. Yes. लॉट ऑफ लीला भगवान की. कुछ कुछ ऐसा रहा ही होगा. मे बी सब मे बी नारदीय पुराण इट वुड बी मेंशन. We'll have to read about it. Right. But yeah, these are the things. Okay. Then we have time to move to next verse. Okay, we'll see how much we can complete. Because this is very interesting verse. One of the most interesting verse. Right, so we'll repeat. Vyavasāyatmika buddhir ekeha gurunandana bahusākhāyantanantascha buddhayo avyavasāyinām. Vyavasāyatmika buddhir ekeha gurunandana bahusākhāyantanantascha buddhayo avyavasāyinām. Prabhu said. Vyavasāyatmika ekeha gurunandana bahusākhāyantanantascha buddhayo avyavasāyinām. Prabhu said. Vyavasāyatmika buddhir ekeha gurunandana bahusākhāyantanantascha buddhayo avyavasāyinām. So translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Right, we'll discuss that. It looks very cryptic or too many words, difficult words. Right. So it says that those who are on this path and they are resolute. What is resolute? Determined. Huh? That's correct, right? The resolute means determined. There's someone who is determined. Drid Sankalp. Sudrid. In Hindi or Sanskrit it's called. And who are on this path, who are determined or resolute in purpose. Purpose is to serve Krishna. What method? Coming out of by serving Krishna, coming out of this material world, right? That is the purpose, right? And their aim is one. That is the purpose. And the intelligence of those who are not resolute, that is, who are irresolute, is many branched. We'll see what is many branched. So here comes the word buddhi. Buddhi means, we discussed, intelligence. What is intelligence? Now we're coming to that one. What is intelligence? Why it's called buddhi? Anything? What is intelligence, Sandraji? We discuss like right and wrong and all. How do you get your intelligence? By knowledge. Okay. What else? Yes, that is correct. But what else? Reading Shastra by knowledge. Okay. By reading Shastras. Guru Sadhu Shastra. By Guru Sadhu Shastra. Okay. By experience also we get the knowledge. Yes. What else? By observing something, seeing something. Right. Using all indriyas, we get the knowledge. But is knowledge equal to buddhi? Someone can have knowledge of all Bhagavad Gita. Is knowledge equal to buddhi? Why not? If I am conscious and I have all the knowledge, now is it equal to buddhi? What do you mean by conscious? Okay. If you are not able to apply, it's of no use. Practical aspect of it. So when Srila Prabhupada or even in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, when it is said, it is Gyan does not come just Gyan. It's called Gyan Vigyan. Who all have read the Science of Self-Realization? Or this Perfect Question, Perfect Answer book. There you will see this, Gyan Vigyan. Gyan is the knowledge part, Vigyan is the practical part. Unless you do the devotional service, your Gyan is adhura. It's not complete. Like we told, someone knows Bhagavad Gita, I am the body, I am the soul, I am the body, I am the soul. They know all those things. Not doing anything for the soul. What's the use? It's all useless. Right. So, buddhi means what now? Now coming to the part. What is buddhi? We talk about Gyan, we talk about Vigyan. What is buddhi then? Using your knowledge in your action. That is buddhi. Buddhi is not knowledge. Knowledge is just one part of it. But using that knowledge in your actions, in what you do, that is called buddhi. Right? That is intelligence. What we're discussing about. That means the action you are doing, it is enlightened. It's called enlightened action. That is buddhi. Right? Now I have knowledge what I should do, and I'm doing that. Because I have that knowledge. So I do that. Right? That's called buddhi. And Nishkam Karma Yoga, what we are talking about, that is called Buddhi Yoga. Because in there we know that our purpose is to serve Krishna. Our purpose is not to attach with the result. So we do only those. We do those activities where we can serve Krishna and we are not attached to result. That means we are using our intelligence to perform those kind of activity. That's why the Nishkam Karma Yoga is also called Buddhi Yoga. Right? That's how it is defined. Because we are using your intelligence. Now, two words here it is Vyavasāyinām and Avyavasāyinām. What is? Anyone knows what is Vyavasāyinām? It has two words, Vyavasāya, Atmika, Atmatan. Vyavasāya means business. Okay, Atmika means soul, self, for me. Right. No, it means me, Atmika, for me, right, for self. So, Vyavasāya for self. What is Vyavasāya for self? Self, first of all, what is self? Soul. What is Vyavasāya for the soul? Serving Krishna. So, what would be Vyavasāya Atmika? The business of the soul, that is means serving Krishna. That is our business. So our business is Vyavasāya Atmika, means our business is to serve God. Now we have that knowledge. And buddhi, when we use that in our action, it's called Vyavasāya Atmika buddhi. And Avyavasāyinām. Avyavasāyinām is someone who is not using their buddhi, or either they don't have or they are not using their buddhi to serve Krishna, right? And that's where they are not in Krishna consciousness, so they are called Avyavasāyinām. Yes. I will come to that. So now when you know that you have the buddhi and someone is Vyavasāyinām, Vyavasāyatmika, they have the knowledge, what should they do? What should they do? So let's take an example. There is a businessman. If the businessman is going in a, say it's an entrepreneur, some entrepreneur type of businessman, he's going in a train, what would he be thinking? About his business, or in the train, what he will be seeing. Like we observe people, okay, what he will be observing. A good businessman, an opportunity. You remember that story? A businessman whose wife sent him with a sadhu to up to Sudhar Jai to Kashi. Yaad hai wo story? Where when he saw in Kashi that there are so many fires which are burning, people, right? Death pyres were there. He saw those all. He saw those all things, and then he started crying. Right, and his wife and the sadhu he thought, yes, now he got it. After many years, his wife is so happy. At least now he understands. That's why he started crying. And then said, what did you understand? He said, yes, now I understood. What? That I wasted my whole life. Then they are more happy. How did you waste your whole life? That you see here, 24/7 people, they are burning the dead people. And I have invested my money in all the nonsense business. I should have invested in here. That was his point. Right. So there also he understood that I should have the business of the wood and I would have earned more. That's why he was crying. So that is Vyavasāya, one pointed focus. So someone who knows that we are the soul, what should be the focus in serving Krishna? When they are going in the train, when they are having the little time, what should they do? They'll not do chit chatting, अरे थोड़ा मूवी की बात कर लेते हैं, कौन सी मूवी आई है? Dhurandhar or Border 2 or this kind of thing. What they will do? They will take out their bead bag and they will start chanting. That's what they will do. Those are the people who are called resolute, Vyavasāyatmika people. Not the ones थोड़ा टाइम मिलेगा, अरे ठीक है, एक घंटे हो गया ना, एक घंटे डेढ़ घंटे की क्लास, that is enough for the week. They are not, and that is called one branch and multi-branched. Because the people who are not resolute, they will be like, हो गया ना एक घंटे, अल्पम स्वल्पम अल्पस, ठीक है, I'll follow that. कुछ तो होगा, God said that, थोड़ा सा करो, you'll be freed. Just they don't know how many more lives. They're like, उतना कर लिया ना, भगवान ने बोला था, I'm following only that much. Rest time, it is for me. Right. That means they're thinking on the bodily platform. The 24 hour is for my body, 10 minutes is for my soul. Right? So they're all doing everything for the bodily platform. So those are multi-branched people because their focus is on multiple places. Their focus is not just on the Krishna, but on the multiple places. What will happen to my office? Oh, the layoff is starting. Right. Or I have to prepare some appraisals and all those things. Or okay, next month my niece marriage is there. Which gift should I take? When you do chanting, all these things will come in mind. Or I take my example. Okay, next class में क्या मैं बोल पाऊँगा नहीं बोल पाऊँगा? What are things I have to do? All these things will come in mind. Right. प्रभु जी से 5 फॉर्म ले लिया है DT स्पॉन्सरशिप का. सब लोग तो चले गए. Whom shall I give the form now? Right. So these things will come in mind. So that is called multi-branched. Because my focus is not on one thing on serving Krishna. Even in chanting, when we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We should remember Krishna that time. But except that, everything else happens. We remember all other things in the world except Krishna or Radharani. Right. So that is called multi-branch. And someone who is not in Krishna consciousness or they are not that resolute like people like us, our focus is multi-branch. That's what it means, multi-branch. Because we keep on, our focus is divided across multiple things. And we cannot have focus on one thing. Like in yesterday's class, we had a discussion on Sraddhā. And we'll discuss that anyway going forward. When we see the purport of it. Right. So when our focus is multi-branch, we'll not get the happiness. That's the reality. Right? You may get the happiness now for time being, but you will not get the permanent happiness because it's already divided. For some act you will get the happiness, for other you may not. You'll not get the complete happiness then. Right. So those people who are Vyavasāyinām, they don't get happiness. Those people are like, I can take one example. Okay, Sheikh Prabhuji told, worship Krishna. Okay, I'll do that. Then there is one Prabhuji, XYG Prabhuji, Suresh Prabhuji, let's say. He told, "Arey, you should do worship of this Devi Devata also. You should worship of Sai Baba also. You should worship this also. I will do everything. Kahin to, somewhere at least. Right, kahin to haath par lagega. Like, master, jack of all trades, master of none. That will we become, right? I'll try this also, I'll try that also, I'll try that also, I'll try that. कोई तो खुश होगा और शायद कुछ हमें मिल जाए. But कोई खुश होने के चक्कर में कोई नहीं खुश होगा और आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा in the end. That is what multi-branch means here. That's what Lord is about to say. If you have the belief, if you have the faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is harm asking anything from Krishna? Why can't you ask home from Krishna? Why can't you ask, even if you want home, money, good wife, good children, you can ask Krishna, right? If you believe that He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why He can't give? That means your faith is not supreme. Your faith is not unflinching. It is divided. You think Krishna is only for a special purpose, then all other people are for a special purpose. Right? That is multi-branch. Right? When our faith itself is divided, we don't have that belief that if I have the full belief that Krishna can do, right, He will do. That is called unflinching faith, right? Which Srila Prabhupada describes. Yes, I think someone had question. You. वो तो बता दिया. कोई और पूछना आप.
अच्छा, देवताओं को जो उसका एक छोटा सा उदाहरण है कि जैसे हमें कोई कुआं खोदना होता है, पानी मनुष्य 100 फीट पे है, तो अगर हम 10 फुट पे सोचेंगे कि पानी निकल आए और 10 घंटे खोदेंगे तो हमारा टाइम भी वेस्ट जाएगा और फिर पानी भी नहीं मिलेगा. तो वही बात है कि हम एक ही जगह खोदें 100 फीट, तो जैसे कृष्ण को हम उस तरह
That's correct example. If you have to dig well, you don't dig 10 wells and think 10 feet, 10 wells thinking water will come. You have to dig deeper, 100 feet deep well. Then only water will come. That means we have to practice hard. There is, the Guru is saying, Shastra is saying, Sadhu is saying, we are seeing the example of people. But we don't see because we are not at that level yet. We don't have that kind of eligibility yet. But we are seeing that it is happening with the people. Why it cannot happen with me? It will happen with me. That is the unflinching faith. Right. When we have that faith that yes, this will happen with me also. What I have to do, I just have to continue. I don't have, I may not have the Naam Ras now in chanting. I don't realize the God, but I'll keep on doing. In our League of Devotees, Sarita Mataji posted one very beautiful message from Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur told that in message. When you do the chanting, you may think about your family. You might be thinking about your job. You might be thinking about lusty things. Keep doing chanting. Keep doing chanting. Right. After every line, you may think about what you have to do. Keep doing chanting. You are not getting zero, you are getting zero interest. Keep doing chanting. You are not able to speak also. Keep doing chanting. Because one day, the Naam will actually give you the Naam Abhas you will get, and you will realize that you will get the Naam Ras later. Right. But you will stop anyway. You will not get. We have no try until. That's another thing. Yeah, for us also try until you die. Either we die, you go to Vaikuntha, or we'll again get life. and we'll practice it forward. So try until you can. That is also correct. Right. Or until we succeed. Even if we don't, here there is no failure in Krishna consciousness. That's what Lord is saying. It's always success. You do anything, smallest thing, there will be success. Right. So we have to try. Yeah. Our intelligence, we should use it for the Krishna consciousness, not multi-branched. Otherwise, multi-branch, no result. Like if you see like someone, there's a doctor, he knows little bit of Ayurveda also, he knows little bit of allopathic also, he knows Unani also, and his physiotherapist also, and you have some good disease, someone will say, there's a doctor, he knows everything. Will you go to that doctor? No, right? No, bhai. I have the cardio problem, I'll go to the cardiologist. Let me. Thank you. चोट लगेगी पट्टी बंधवाने उसके पास चले जाएंगे. Right. And when we say like about Devi Devata, it does not mean that when we say worship, yes, worship you do for always one. You don't worship everyone. Actually, if someone does, it's not really worship. Right, worship is always for one. But it does not mean you start disrespecting others. अरे मैं तो कृष्ण भक्त हूँ, मैं तो उस मंदिर में भी नहीं जाऊँगा. शिव मंदिर, हाँ? किसकौन वाले? It does not mean that. They are the great Vaishnavas. Right. But your consciousness should be clear what you are asking for. Are you asking anything for them? Because how many people do you know who go to all the temple and they don't ask for anything? Do you know any normal people? If they don't ask for anything. Everyone, I'll go to Shiv temple, I'll do this, I will ask for that. I'll go to Ganesh temple, I'll ask obstacles should go from my way. I'll go to Devi temple, I'll ask for that. I'll go to Lakshmi temple, I'll ask for fortune. That's why people go. That is multi-branch thing. Right. But there is no problem in going. But they are the great Vaishnava. Why don't you ask for the bhakti from them? Go and ask. कि भगवान ठीक है लक्ष्मी देवी गणेश जी ठीक द ग्रेटेस्ट ऑफ ग्रेटेस्ट वैष्णव शिव जी कुछ तो कृपा कर दो मेरे ऊपर गिव मी सम मर्सी ऑफ योर सो दैट आई कैन बी मोर सीरियस इन दिस पार्ट यू कैन आस्क दैट बिकॉज दैट इज द ग्रेटेस्ट that is which we can take out from the greatest fear. Otherwise this life you can ask anything 20 mahal death all mahal is gone. Right. We took example of the founder of Raymond a lot of times in our class. 12,000 crore empire. His child is I don't know single child or what. His kid, he threw him out. Now he's living in rented apartment. 12,000 crore. यहाँ 1 करोड़ भी लोग के पास नहीं होता है. 12,000 crore. और अभी rented apartment पे रहते हैं. What's the use? I mean, forget about after death. That is happening before death. Now he is like old guy living in rented apartment, pays his medical bills and all this. Right. These all will go. Anyway. We know a lot of people, right? Like every single one of us know, right? We have left there or mom, dad somewhere. Hey, we are living, doing job here. A lot of people. I know a lot of people living in this society. बेटे UK US में enjoy कर रहे हैं, मम्मी पापा साथ में कर रहे हैं. That is what it is. This all will go. The only thing which will remain with us is the Krishna Bhakti. Nothing else. Right? Nothing else will remain in this life or after this life. So, yeah, I think we answered this question. Why they don't get peace? Because multi-branched. Their concentration is half here, not half. Some percent here, some percent there, some percent there. Right. So, respect all the Devi Devata because they are all the great Vaishnava. No problem, not at all any problem going to any temple. But ask for something which is the biggest of our fear, the greatest fear. Ask for the bhakti. Ask for how can I get out of this whole material world itself. Ask for that. Everything else will go away. Right. So, Srila Prabhupada, like in once he told, we'll wrap up in 10 minutes. Is it okay? Huh? Okay, or shall we wrap? Okay, we'll complete in 10 minutes. So Srila Prabhupada, once he was talking to some reporter, नहीं यार, मुझे पता है. That's the thing. Right, he was talking to a reporter and he was saying like, this is because of that. Why the Vyavasāyinām people don't get the peace? So I told one example. There are a lot of organizations like United Nations, NATO. There was a previous League of Nations. Before United Nations, it was called League of Nations after World War I. Right. Then the latest one. Anyone knows what is that? Anyone knows that? Board of Peace. The latest of all. Right. Thanks to President Trump. Which had the funny part, the greatest I would say the characteristic of the board of peace is it has Pakistan, Qatar, Afghanistan, and all those countries as its member. Perfect. Board of peace, very peaceful. Right. Yeah, exactly. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that we have all these organizations, but still there is no peace in the world. Why? Because they are not aligned with what our Shastra says that. They don't even know what we have to do to get the peace. They want all the peace. How can you have the peace? How can you have the peace means love between people, right? How can you have love between people when you don't have a single connecting point for all the people? People can say humanity. Really, what is humanity? It's just a term. Right? It's just a term. Human fight with all other, but you won't have the universal brotherhood if you don't have a universal father. If my father is different, someone else's father is different, some third guy's father is someone else, then all have their own father, then there cannot be universal brotherhood. So, Srila Prabhupada writes in his, there's a transcendental teaching of Prahlad Maharaj and many other books also. Unless one is situated on Krishna Conscious platform, there is no question of universal brotherhood. Because there is no universal father. But if people start thinking there is one father, one God, we all are their son, his son, not their, his son. Then we will start thinking. The first thinking is that there is one God and then we all are his son. Then we will start, he is my brother, he is my brother. Then only we will start thinking. Otherwise it's just a by name sake. जैसे लोग बोला था और भाई क्या हाल चाल है और फिर we'll go back and we had अरे कितना बकवास आदमी है this and that. There is no brotherhood. So, yeah. Any question? So, Srila Prabhupada wrote that. Vyavasāyinām intelligence, he explains that. The strong faith by Krishna consciousness, one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasāyinām intelligence. That strong faith is necessary. You have to have the faith of on Krishna and what? That
He's going to be there.
yeah, exactly, he's going to be there no matter what. He can save me from all these kind of problems. Right? You have to have a strong faith. And that is called Vyavasāyinām intelligence. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. Anyone knows what is sublime means? Sublimation. Someone remember sublimation? Mukund, पढ़ाया जा रहा होगा sublimation. Yes, solid to gas. We don't realize what is magic? We just see solid becomes liquid, then it becomes gas. But sublimation from directly solid to gas, it becomes magic. So sublime is something which we cannot understand, which is beyond our comprehension. Right? But it is there. So spiritual knowledge is also like that. The spirituality is also like that. We will not be able to see God. But at least we are not seeing God now. And we don't know whether whether Vaikuntha is there or not. We don't know. But then unflinching faith means we see the people who know. We see that it's written in our Shastra. And I 100% trust the words of my Guru, the words of Shastra, the words of Sadhu. And I 100% believe in those examples. That is unflinching trust. Right. And if we have that trust, it can take us forward. Without trust, nothing will happen. So, When one is engaged in the duty of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship of material world with obligation to family tradition, humanity or nationality. A big sentence. Right. Yesterday, no, not yesterday, on 1st February or it's like one of my friend he asked, what about Bhagat Singh? He did great for the greater cause. Did he get liberated? I said no. He did not do for God. He will not get liberated. He'll get the opportunity to serve the nation again. Right, in his next life. Even though he's a great, great freedom fighter, but he might not have got liberated if his thinking was just because he was a theist. If his thinking was not aligned with God, he would not get liberated. Right. But he will certainly get an opportunity to serve the country again. Because he was the greatest fighter. Right. So, yeah. That's the thing. This nationality and all these are just human-made boundaries. What is the nation? In our Shastra says there is nothing called nation, right? What we call Bhumi. We used to worship Bhumi, not nation. Right? But because in time, circumstances, देश काल और समय, ठीक, देश काल और परिस्थिति के हिसाब से now it become nation. So we just now are attached to our nation. So Radhara Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Radhara Swami Maharaj, one of his disciple was a soldier, and when he was going to border, he asked one question to Maharaj. Maharaj, I am going to fight to those people, to our enemies, right? And I may be doing some crime. What should be my consciousness? He said that your consciousness should be you are going to protect the land where Rama and Krishna was born. Right? You are protecting that land. Your consciousness should not be like I'm going to kill people. I'm going to do this. But you are protecting your dharma. You are doing the war for dharma. With that consciousness, if you are doing the same activity, that becomes Krishna conscious activity. Every single thing what in our life we do can become Krishna conscious activity. Right? Just we have to connect with the God. And that is called Buddhi Yoga. And that is the intelligence which we have to do. Right? So we don't need to follow family tradition, humanity, and nationality. When it says that, means on the materialistic way. That I have kids, so I have to raise him with the. I have to make him the engineer and doctor only. Because if not, then how he will learn? How will get that? If I'm thinking that way, then it is useless. Right? We don't need to do. In Krishna conscious way of raising child, I'm not really a father of that child, my kid. I'm just a caretaker. Because everyone is son of Krishna, right? I'm just taking care of them. When everyone is son of Krishna, and it is my responsibility, it is my duty to take care, then obviously I'll do a good job of taking care or raising them in a proper way to make them Krishna conscious person. Rishabh Dev, when he was talking to his 100 children, he told that no one should become a mother, father, guru, king, and a lot of other things unless he ensures they will get liberated in this life. Unless he makes sure that he is able to give them a way following which they can get liberated. No one should become a mother, father, guru, king, or whatever. Right? He told that. Yes.
It's mentioned in Brahmado Bhakya.
It is mentioned at many places, but like Rishabh, they've also mentioned that. Yes. Right. So that is what like connecting everything to Krishna conscious activity. That is the Buddhi Yoga. Right. Otherwise, everything else is waste. So the highest perfection in Krishna consciousness is the renunciation of the material conception of life. The state is automatically achieved by progressing Krishna consciousness, like we're discussing. So Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, there's a verse comes. श्रद्धा सब देव विश्वास का है सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्णा भक्ति कैले सर्व कर्म कृत है. When Sraddhā is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. That's what we are discussing. If I do for Krishna, everything else will be automatically fulfilled. We discussed that example that when a human is born, he is born with 10 to 5 or 6 type of people or beings like Dev, rishi, family, relatives, human, animals, all those, and who else? देव हो गए ठीक हाँ but yeah this kind of humanity Pitri exactly ancestors right that was last so he is born to that but when we read that at that time also if we do this thing by and everyone has to pay if they are not able to pay in this life they have to do in next life or next life unless they pay they cannot go back that's why we do the Sraddhā right the Pindada for that reason only. But if someone who is doing Krishna conscious activity means a devotee, not like us, devotee means devotee, not practicing devotee. They don't need to, they are out of this debt. Because Krishna will take away all the debt. That kind of faith we should have. Right? I don't need to go to Lakshmi ji asking for more fortune. It will happen automatically. I can ask Krishna if I need to. And he will take care. That kind of faith we need to have. Because when you root the like here, that is Sraddhā, right? We discussed that is Sraddhā, unflinching faith. And that is the first stage of bhakti. That Krishna is the ultimate goal, the ultimate Vishwas. Right? Like Srila Prabhupada told, when you water, even not Srila Prabhupada, actually it is written in Srimad Bhagavatam. When you water the root, you don't have to water the flower or the leaf or the branches. It will automatically go. So when you water the Sarva Karan Karanam, like it is written here, Vasudeva Sarvamiti Mahatma Sadurlabha. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Vasudeva is the Karan of all causes. He is the cause of all causes. He is cause of everything. When we understand that, and if we satisfy Vasudeva, Sri Krishna, we don't need to satisfy everyone else. Like we have the example, when you make CEO happy, you don't have to make your manager happy. He will take care. Right? He will actually be afraid of you. Oh, what if I do some bad thing to him and he complains to the CEO? Meri job to. Think. Go to that level. Rather than sticking to many levels. HR को भी खुश करना है, manager को भी खुश करना है, team lead को भी कर दो. थोड़े मेरे नीचे वाले भी खुश हो जाए. You don't need to make everyone happy. Make the CEO happy. And everything will be automatically done. Right. So Vasudeva Sarvamiti Mahatma Sadurlabha. A person in Krishna consciousness is the rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva Sri Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. If Krishna is satisfied by one's action, everyone will be satisfied. Now serving in Krishna consciousness is however best practiced under able guidance of a spiritual master, who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. Now, how do we get Sraddhā? We are talking about Sraddhā, unflinching faith. How do we get Sraddhā? Sraddhā कैसे आती है? Unflinching faith. How do we get that unflinching faith? Anything. जल्दी क्लास खत्म करनी है तो जल्दी आंसर देना होगा. Yes. कैसे आपको दृढ़ विश्वास होगा किसी चीज पे? कैसे होगा? यही तो क्वेश्चन है. What is the process? कैसे होगा? Surrender आप कैसे करोगे? Why would you go and surrender to someone just like that? And how do you get intelligence? Scripture. Huh? So knowledge. Have you experienced God? But सब लोग तो कहते हैं it's a good place. You are born rich, you are happy living life. हाँ ठीक है ये तो आता ही रहता है. मतलब जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि ये तो this is life. That will happen, but it's a good place. I enjoyed my whole life. What's the problem? A lot of people say that. How do you know it's a bad place? Vaikuntha is here if you live here like Vaikuntha. Right?
छोटे से पढ़ना लिखना है
पर वो तो पढ़ना लिखना तो पड़ेगा ना. हाँ वो तो कष्ट होगा ही तो ऐसा थोड़े कि मतलब suddenly you will stop reading. That means knowledge has no value. अब फिर से पढ़ना पड़ेगा. If you don't want to read, that means knowledge should be out of it. Then how do we get Sraddhā? Guru and Sastra. Okay? If someone just reading Bhagavad Gita, सबके पास होती है. How many of them have Sraddhā? Sraddhā means what we discussed? Unflinching faith, not just faith, unflinching faith. How many of those people? They all have Bhagavad Gita. सबके घर में है. 20 रुपए से लेके 500 रुपए तक की. देखिए डिलक्स एडिशन. How many of them have Sraddhā? हम आते हैं. आप थोड़ा पास हो, but हाँ मतलब that's correct. All are correct answer. But someone who has something can give you something. If I don't know Bhagavad Gita, I cannot teach you Bhagavad Gita. If I don't know verse 2.41, which I prepared this week, I can't teach you verse 2.41. Right? So someone who has Sraddhā can only give Sraddhā. So Sraddhā actually book से नहीं आती है. आप ले लो सारे scripture ले लो and read it and tell me if anyone can get Sraddhā by reading. No. Sraddhā comes only from the people, from the devotee, from the Vaishnava who have that Sraddhā. Only they can give you the Sraddhā. And that's what Srila Prabhupada here is trying to say. It should be best practice under able guidance of a spiritual master who is bona fide representative of Krishna. Because he has that Sraddhā. Because he knows the path, then only he can guide you, he can give you the Sraddhā. He can guide you what you need to do. By book, you can't do. There are a lot of people, I have Bhagavad Gita, मैं पढ़ लूंगा. क्लास क्यों आना है? ठीक. हाँ आप पढ़ोगे, इस जन्म में पढ़ोगे, अगले कई जन्म में भी पढ़ोगे. मतलब हो सकता है आप भी पढ़ें. बट उनका तो श्योर है. जो खुद से पढ़ेंगे वो कई जन्म में पढ़ते ही रहे. Right. But they will not get the Sraddhā. Sraddhā does not come just like that. So, Chaitanya Charitamrita Lila, just 2-3 minutes we'll finish. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasad Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. So this Bhakti Lata Bij, it is given by Guru Krishna Prasad. When Krishna arranges Guru for us, by his Prasad, we get that Bhakti Lata Bij. Why it's called Bij? Because in our heart, that devotion is always there. It was always there. But it is not getting fruitified. You may have the best seed of the world, but if you put in the barren land, nothing will come up. That's how we are. Right? Our whole life, our whole body, this vehicle is the barren land. But when it comes into contact with the Guru, who comes with the mercy of Krishna, he ignites that. He acts as a catalyst, right? And he starts the reaction immediately, and then that seed start become the what? जो भी बोलते हो, ठीक है? It will start growing, and that is Bhakti Lata Bij will become a tree, the tree of Bhakti. That's what it is saying. Right. So by satisfying the spiritual master, the supreme personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. I think it's coming again. Okay. No. So we have this in Guru Ashtakam, right? Yasya prasada bhagavad prasado yasya prasadana nagati kutopi dhanyanstu vastasya yasasri sandhyam vande guru sri charanavittam. Then by satisfying the spiritual master, the supreme personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted on the plane of Krishna Consciousness. Very important. Connected to the previous thing. Without Guru's Kripa, nothing will happen. And you cannot directly satisfy Krishna. You have to go through the path. So Mataji can, like when you put the prasada, what mantra you say? First you say for Guru. Then you go for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then you go for Krishna. Right? Because that is the path you have to follow. Krishna will not take you directly. He has sent you his bona fide people. You satisfy them. Like when when Narad Muni in the previous life was a boy, all he did is satisfied those Vaishnavas. And he became Narad Muni. I don't know why I'm saying that. Right. So that is an example. The whole process, how one depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body. Not theoretically, but practically. Not theory, but practical also. Devotional service has to be there. Theory would not work. So that's why Jnana Vigyan comes. Right. Now, last part of this. Last question. Now we don't have Sraddhā. Right. Let's say, or let's agree that we don't have Sraddhā. Should we not do our sadhana? Because we don't have Sraddhā. नाम में रुचि नहीं आती है, ठीक है, दिमाग वो ही नहीं होता, तो क्या फायदा ऐसा नाम लेने से? What's the use of taking such name when I'm not even concentrated on that? Should we do sadhana or not? Why? I think we already discussed the answer. Right, now everyone will know. So, yes, because that's a long process. We are already here from millions of years, millions of lives, years forget it. पता नहीं कितने साल, billions of years. Just Earth was created 4.6 billion years back, according to science. Right, so we don't know how long we are here. Right, so some more. Right, let's continue. And even if we don't get the taste, we'll get the taste someday if we continue with our this idea. Right, but our target should be the intelligence is yes. Bhagwan is saying that I will get out of this world someday, some life. But why to wait for some life? Why not this life itself? Right? Who knows what will happen in next life? Maybe at the last moment, someone is thinking about their wife, and then they become the wife in next life. Or they are thinking about their dog. Who? Oh, मेरे dog को खाना कौन खिलाएगा? And that's it. Right? Next life, आओ बेटा तुमको खाना खिलाएगा. Right. We don't know what will happen in the last moment. Right. So why to wait for the next life? Just try this life itself and get out by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Any question? How about it?
As per your belief. So one can say that ये शायद भगवान की मर्जी है। या फिर भगवान ने कुछ लेसन सिखाना होगा इसलिए या फिर वो हमारे कर्मों की वजह से
Or all three? All three? देखिए, आपके कर्म, you get the reaction because of your karma. Who decides the karma? God decides. Maya Devi, under guidance of God decides. Right. And what do you have to get? Because you did such karma, you got that reaction decided by Maya Devi under guidance of Lord. Now you have to take the teaching from that, not to repeat it again. So it is all three.
इसलिए मेरे ऐसा
All results of karma is for you to understand some lesson. Otherwise, there is no use of. What is the use of karma then? Then you will be just get stuck in the karma bandhan. It will not take any lesson from that. Say, let's say, someone took alcohol. They did a lot of vomiting. Huh? They did not take a lesson. Again, next day they took some alcohol. They did again and again and again. What's the use then? They'll keep on repeating the same thing. They're getting the same result. ठीक, कोई आदमी है बहुत गुस्सा वाला है, सड़क पे जो कुछ भी होता है हॉन्क करता है, एक झापड़ मारता है और बदले में खूब पिटता है. ठीक, he gets even more beating and then he keeps on doing it without learning a lesson. He is getting result of his karma by getting more beating, but still he is not learning, and every day someone honks and he starts slapping someone and he gets more beating. All useless. Right. So we have to take, because every result is for teaching us something. Without that, there is no point of having karma cycle. Right. So these all three together, God will not give you something which you don't deserve. He'll not like, okay, I want to teach a lesson, let's give me something out of random, just like that, even though it is not for her because of her karma. He'll not do. He'll get only because of your action. They will do all the good things, all the Krishna Conscious things. Why would you need to come back and do get the result of those karma? You don't. You'll go to Vaikuntha and enjoy like those Bhagwan ke sare friends ki taraf. You don't have to come here to do. Right. So this is all three combined. Any other question? Any? Okay. Take all finish off. I hope I took a lot of time. One second, Mr. Kripa Sindhu Beja Bhaktana Pavne Vivashya. the Buddhi Yoga, the Jessica Prabhupada, the Time of Hare 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 Krishna.